everybody knows she's completely well renowned for that. But the very few of us know how brilliantly and passionately she cooks for her family. What an elegant home. I've actually had the good fortune and been blessed enough to have some amazing meals done by her, written about her cooking over the years for Bombay Times and so on and so forth. And of course, she's going to tell us, but she is probably the oldest user of Jeru Mehta's cookbook. Since how many years?
Well, I attended the first publication and I bought the book. It was a red book. It was 101 recipes, and I used it for a long time after that when I got married, and then I had children. Now I have grandchildren. They love the recipes. So my daughter came in from New York a year ago, and she said, I'm sorry, now this is an heirloom. This belongs to me and no longer belongs to you. So now that beautiful red book is residing, gone to New York. Yes, gone, far away. So would you like this mic back?
Yes, thank you. Okay, and then of course Jeru Mehta has been introduced already. Harsha Bhatkar, we already introduced, the sweetest boss. And then sitting next to him is the queen of vegetarian cuisine in India. A big hand for Asha Khatau. She's the lovely young lady, has published many books, but she runs these amazing classes called Epicure, where she teaches world cuisine, all pure vegetarian. So vegetarians are really comfortable and secure to be learning from her. She's also given demonstrations around the world, the recent one being in Dubai. And her books, ladies and gentlemen, have won 5 international awards in Paris. They're called the World Gourmand Cookbook Awards. And the most recently, her book on desserts has been nominated, and she'll be going to Paris, and I'm sure she'll win that award. She's written books ranging from cocktails and mocktails to desserts and everything in between. And Asha Khatau is very graciously here. I'm so happy to have her here. Thank you, Asha, and thank you, Sabira. And we have with us Tinu Sangvi. Tinu, I have to tell you, is in the middle of the most exciting, fabulous, heartwarming, helpful project, and she's still taken time and come here. She's brought along with her a white t-shirt. She's going to wear it and go back. Ladies and gentlemen, she is organizing, she teaches the SPJ Sadhana School mentally challenged young adults cooking. And in fact, they have this amazing fair called Concrete Blessings, which is on tomorrow and day after in the Sophia College campus from morning to evening. And those kids are extraordinarily gifted. I've been attending their shows and I can't tell you how fabulous they are. So she's left that to be with us. She's also an Ikebana expert, Hindustan classical music expert, as though that first one wasn't enough. And she's written a cookbook called the Don't Diet Diet. I'm sure we all want to know more about it. And that cookbook has been a runaway hit. She's working on many more. And she's very interested in the fine balance between taste and health. And she has also taken time off to be here for our very special 85-year young Jeru Mehta. So let's give her one more round of applause before we launch the book. Swela, where are you? So we'll do the book launch right now, and then we'll go on with the rest of the show.
Wonderful. Well, we have a copy for each of you in front of you that you need to unveil for everyone sitting right here. And of course, the audience is very excited to launch yet another book, which we show is going to be a runaway success, just like her previous books. Ladies and gentlemen, Cooking for the Family by Jeru Mehta. Let's give them a big round of applause. A very special thank you to our panelists, Rashmi Uday Singh, Sabira Merchant, Harsha Bhatkar, Asha Khatau, and Tinu Sangvi for launching the book. There's much more talk about the book, much more. A very special thank you to Popular Prakashan. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause to the publishers for giving this book such a wonderful platform.
Yeah. So now I'm going to hand over the mic to our... You got a mic? Okay, lovely. First of all, I want to ask her this question after we're through. How does she remain ever young? But we'll ask her later. Checked.
Thank you, Rashmi, and thank all of you. The last time I was on this podium to launch my 101 Parsi recipes, I mentioned that before I learned cooking, I thought the most difficult thing was how to cook. Today, I sit here and tell you that cooking is not the most difficult thing, but what to cook is more difficult. Ask the family, what shall I give for dinner tomorrow? Anything. No assistance there. True. So to alleviate this painful process of deciding on the food program for tomorrow, I have devoted a whole chapter on menus, weekly menus, party menus, and lots of suggestions for how to use leftovers, which I hope you will find useful. The recipes in the book are very simple and uncomplicated, and they've been tried and tested, so you will produce however it ought to be. I assure you that cooking for my book will see that you're out of the kitchen at top speed. And also, I would like to dedicate this book to busy women, those who are married and are burdened further with husband and children. So go ahead and enjoy cooking for the family.
So that was our young author herself. Sabira is going to correct me, that's why I sat next to her so she could keep telling me, shh, it's not authoress, it's author. Okay. So now, before we move, ask you guys to ask questions, I'd like to have a quick word from each of our panelists about what they thought about the book. So we'll begin with Sabira and then move down and then come back to me. Okay, Sabi, you want my mic?
Thanks. Yes, I'll use this one. As I told you, I'd used Jaru's book before, a very long time, and I've been cooking sasba machi and lots of other Parsi recipes from there. But this time when I got the book, and when Khorshid asked me, why don't you come and attend it? I said, fine. I looked at the book, and there was a different look to the book. And I said, well, what shall I cook from here? I was thinking to myself. So I asked my husband, who was not much of a help at any times, but who volunteered to say, why don't you make a cake? So I said, cake from the Parsi book? Well, this sounds a little bit tricky. So I looked at the book and I said, there's a sponge cake. And he just loves sponge cake. So I went on to the sponge cake. I got the recipe, everything, all the ingredients out. I started making it. Now I think it says 1 teaspoon baking powder over there, if I'm correct. If you're correct, I mean, that is. So 1 teaspoon. I said, 1 teaspoon, I'm telling you, I think that sounds too much. I think I'm going to cut it down to half a teaspoon. Thinking that I was doing the right thing. This must have overrated, so I bought fresh baking powder, put that half a teaspoon, made it, and the cake turned out pretty good, but it was a little set. It wasn't fluffy like it should have been. But while it was warm, I gave it to my husband, and he said, this is the best cake I've ever had. So I said, oh, really? He said, tomorrow you'll make that cake again. I said, no, tomorrow I'm going to practice. I was going for rehearsals. So I can't make it tomorrow. He said, Sabi, you have to make it 2 days running.